An allemande is yet another popular dance form originally associated with Baroque music. It was usually placed as the opening movement of a suite. Weber's Allemande, however, which you will find in issue 70 of Pianist magazine, was a newer, more light-hearted version that seemed to originate in the late 18th century. If anything, it was a forerunner to the waltz. Whilst this is a simple-sounding piece, it's not without its technical and musical challenges. Structurally, the form is very simple. It consists of 2 repeated sections. Now, the right-hand melody is essentially phrased in 4-bar sections. With the melodies like this, it often helps to think of each phrase as a question and answer. For example, the first 2 bars might sound like a musical question. The answer being, and so on. This approach often helps the player to inject more life and character into the theme, because one starts to think in terms of a spoken sentence and its inflections. Now, the articulation of the opening melody line is quite pronounced, especially the opening 2 of the 4-bar sections. These first 2 quavers are phrased like so, almost sounding like a kind of Swiss yodel. Now, concentrate on your hand weight, being able to comfortably release the second quaver of the opening 2 bars, but be ready to play the 3rd note. Try practicing a comfortable hand motion, maybe a kind of down and up motion like so. The 3rd and 4th bar then require a more legato feel. The legato feel is always a challenge because one is looking to achieve an equally balanced weight on each finger and releasing the previous finger just before any overlap occurs. This gives the smooth transition from note to note. Now, slow practice is essential here, and it really try to keep your fingers relaxed, also in contact with the keys at all times. The second legato section from bar 7 may require a little more practice with the thumb movement, especially if you're using the written finger of 2, 3 and 1. It requires the thumb to stretch a little further than the usual tone or semitone. Why not try breaking up this little section into a right hand exercise? For example, the other thing is to be careful of your hand positioning. The end of bar 4 going into bar 5, for example, requires the hand to move quite quickly into position. Now, of course, you could be clever and change the fingering in bar 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. And this will prepare the hand position nicely for the next section. But sometimes it helps the phrasing if the hand actually has to move into position. This is really up to the player. The left hand, of course, provides the rhythmic support. It should be light, with a little extra weight placed on the first beats of each bar. I'd suggest a detached feel, but not staccato. So without the pedal, you may also have noticed a slightly odd notation in bar 3, where both the right and the left hand are actually playing the same note at the same time. You'll see this from time to time in piano scores. The intention here is to clarify that this single note is shared by both the melody and the accompaniment. Now, to tackle this, some may actually attempt to play both the same note with both hands. Like, for example, I personally would drop that note from my left hand for that one chord. Otherwise, there's always a danger of mishitting a key if 2 or more fingers are triggering the same key at one time. At bar 9, the left hand has a chance to shine. Again, concentrate on the phrasing this time. Of course, the balance will be opposite to the right hand as the melody moves in the same direction. Therefore, the left hand must adjust accordingly. Practice the same techniques for your left hand legato. Now, most students will find this harder being the left hand. Make sure on both occasions that your fingers are again in position over the keys as far in advance and as realistically as possible. Contact with the keys always allows you to better gauge the key pressure and the accuracy of your timing. You may in fact find the F sharp sticks out a bit in bar 11. This would be a way of dealing with this. Remember to keep the right hand chords light and rhythmic here too. Practice like so. Note how my fingers always have contact with the keys rather than playing like this. Always emphasize the first beat and keep the chord as tight sounding as possible. In other words, make sure the notes don't spread. Regards peddling, I would again recommend very little, perhaps as the score indicates a little on the first beat of each bar, but try not to blur this nice yodel-like phrasing on that first beat. You'll see on the score that there are no dynamics indicated at all. I'd probably play most of this piece as mezzo forte until the left-hand melody comes, where I drop the volume level down to mezzo piano. And perhaps add a little crescendo at the end of each section where the melody runs up. And the very last time, why not add a little ritardando as well? Or for the last time, if you have a digital piano, you may find there are other sounds inside of the piano. In this particular case, the Roland HP 505 offers some very early traditional pianos. So for example, if you select the forte piano sound, you may like to try performing it with this particular piece. Yet again, we see perhaps not one of the most exciting of piano pieces, but still a piece with technical challenges that, if tackled successfully, will stand you in good stead. Always remember the time spent mastering these challenges will make the next challenge even easier.